Wow, what a busy couple days for Tesla news. We had Cybertruck, Bitcoin, a new Model 3 variant. Let's jump into the details. So let's dive into all these juicy details. But before I get started, please head down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell if you want to be notified of these videos and other videos like car reviews, car tests, 0 to 60 tests, all these kind of things. Hit that little notification bell and comment down below. Say hello in the comments. So there is actually so much to dive into today. I'm super excited. There's some really exciting things to start off with. So, first story that I want to jump into, and it's the biggest one for me, and that is the Model 3 update. There is a new Model 3 variant here, and I think people are going, what are you on about? What are you on about? What's going on? Okay, so news dropped yesterday that Australia will now be receiving their Model 3s from China. And that is because they finally started producing a right-hand drive version. Now, China don't drive right-hand drive, they drive left-hand drive. So that means that they've got a manufacturing line that is now creating right-hand drive vehicles. So what does that mean? Well, that's a massive shuffle around because I think it means that all right-hand drive vehicles right now are going to be produced out of China, not America. So, Australia is receiving a right-hand drive Model 3 from China. That's now on the website, and we'll go check that out in a second. But also, New Zealand is, which are these are close to China, logistically speaking. But the UK is now receiving their right-hand drive from China as well, which isn't, logistically speaking, close to China. It's probably a harder delivery than the States doing it, which means that I think the right-hand drive Model 3 is now going to be produced in China. Now, we might see that change when Germany opens up, but that's a different story. So the right-hand drive means that we now have freer space in the Fremont factory. In America, they're going to have more space for producing left-hand drive vehicles over there. They're not going to have to use the production line to create right-hand drive versions, which I think will make it more efficient. But let's head on to the website, Tesla.com. Okay, so here it is. Here is the Model 3 Standard Range Plus in the UK. This is the car that the UK will receive. Range 278 miles. Wow. So my range when I purchased my Model 3 was 251, I think. WLTP. Battery tech's improved now. It's been produced in China. These cars will be better produced, possibly. But yeah, there we go. 278 miles. So let's order that. Next. And let's scroll down for our options. Next. So there you go. So this is the tell-all. So this is the new interior that people will only recognize if they are aware of what is happening in China. And it's this portion of the door trim right here. That is different. So you can see that. That just does not exist in the standard Model 3 or the Model 3 that I have. It doesn't exist. So we also have the interior changes here, but that is just the new refreshed Model 3 going on here. It's just mainly the doors here, which is signature of the China factory. And now the UK one has it as well. So I'm not going to bore you and go on to the Australia website, but that's what you will see on Australia. That is what you will see in New Zealand as well. So they have these new things. And that means that all right-hand drive vehicles currently are being produced in China. So there we go. Model 3 refresh, different model, right-hand drive model is now coming to the UK, Australia, and New Zealand. Why is this bigger news than it seems on the surface? Well, the reason this is bigger news than it seems on the surface is that means, in my opinion, the Model Y is closer than we thought in the right-hand drive variant. So yeah, you heard that right. The right-hand drive version of the Model Y is closer than we thought. So I was thinking that we might have to wait for Berlin to open before we see that right-hand drive Model Y. But now I'm starting to think that might not be the case, and we might see some right-hand drive Model Ys coming out of China. So now that there is a right-hand drive variant of the Model 3 going to all these countries, I do genuinely think that there's going to be a right-hand drive Model Y coming a lot sooner. Model Y is now being produced in China, which means the production line's coming online quickly. It's not taken that long from the Model 3 being produced in China to the right-hand drive being shipped out. And I do think because they're done on the same sort of model and the same factory lines, that it wouldn't be that hard for them now to produce the right-hand drive Model Y. Just a working theory. I just think there's a lot better chance for the Model Y to come out right-hand drive. So that's the first story. I'm really excited about this, obviously. But what do you guys think? Does anyone have an issue with the little bit of wood trim, or I don't know, has anyone got an issue with that? I haven't personally. And I'm excited to see the quality of product coming out of China. Hopefully we can get hands on one of your guys' cars and do a review of it. So there was a lot of things popping off about the Cybertruck, and I wouldn't call it news. I would just call it sort of buzz around the Cybertruck. But Elon's basically saying that the Cybertruck is going to be amazing. So we had this tweet here from Ryan. Having owned a DeLorean for 12 years, I never thought that I would see another mass-produced stainless steel car again. I keep having to remind myself that this is going to be a real thing on public roads in 1 year from now. And then someone asked, are you getting one? He said if he didn't live in San Francisco, he would. Elon Musk put back, Cybertruck doesn't need a garage. Now, this is really important because I actually think this is the way Tesla are eventually going to go with the marketing of the Cybertruck, or at least sort of their stance on the size of the Cybertruck. So previously, they said that they was going to shrink the Cybertruck by 3%. That would allow it to fit into garages. It would allow it to fit into certain parking spaces in Europe and all these kinds of things. They then backtracked and says they're not going to do that. And I think Tesla bent into the size of the car. They saw that the love for the size of the car was there, and they're going to stick with it. So they're going to keep the size of the car as it was on the day. That's what they're saying. So that means they have to sort of bend into this idea that it's not going to fit into most people's garages, and you're just going to have to deal with it. And I kind of agree. You know, the Model X, even the Model 3 and the Model S and the Roadster and all these cars, we want to be able to fit them into a garage. They've got nice, beautiful paintwork. They're elegant cars. They're not rough, rugged cars that you want to bash about. They're nice cars. They're pretty cars. The Cybertruck is not. The Cybertruck doesn't need to be protected from the elements, from weather, from getting bashed, dinged. Someone can come along and scrape it. I won't be that bothered. But yeah, in all honesty, it's the way the car should be marketed. What is the point of squeezing the car down to a certain size to fit it in a garage when it doesn't actually need to be in a garage? That's not the USP of this vehicle. The USP of this vehicle is that it is a rough, ready vehicle that you don't need to worry about it getting scratched because it's so tough of a vehicle. That's just my opinions. I think in the UK, it's going to be absolutely huge. I don't know if they're going to ship it, but they're talking about this Wolverine variant anyway. So for people like Ryan who want a truck, if they hold the horses, hopefully there'll be that Wolverine version coming out just a while after. Who knows if it's going to have the steel exterior. But yeah, there's just a buzz around it. So Elon's tweeting, that the Cybertruck is a rough and ready vehicle and it does not need a garage. So for you guys who are thinking that they're going to make it smaller, they're not going to do that now. And we all sort of already knew that. Sticking with Cybertruck news, this popped up on Reddit. A lot of people have been going on about this. It's a cyber van or cyber SUV. And some people are calling it ugly. I actually really like it. And I think in the UK, if they were just to keep the front windows, just keep these front windows and silver and steel this whole back, we would have a decent competitor for a small sized van like the transit van, which in Europe and in the UK is huge. We use these smaller vans. I know in the States they have a lot bigger vans for deliveries, but in the UK, workmen, small courier services, they use vans very similarly sized to this, but all you would need is sort of a flat area to load into and a hatch at the back instead. And I mean, I like it. I prefer the truck over that one, if I'm being honest. I would probably get one of these though. But there you go. That's blown up on Twitter, on Reddit at the moment. And I think we could actually see a production line based around the cyberpunk style, the Cybertruck style. we're obviously going to see the Wolverine, the Cyber Wolverine. I don't know what they're going to call it, but the smaller truck. That one has been confirmed. But anything else? I think we will see something else. What do you think? Do you guys like that? I don't know. I think I prefer the Cybertruck, but I would have that. I would drive that. So other great news at the moment is that the Tesla Model 3, if you don't know who Sandy Munro is, he tests cars out, he breaks them down. He wasn't the biggest fan of Tesla recently, until recently. He was actually kind of, he didn't really like them. He wasn't a fan of the build quality. And then as he started to strip back the vehicles and see how fast Tesla were to react to what his comments were, his remarks were on the build quality of the vehicle, and how fast they're advancing, he's actually turned around hugely. But one thing he said was an issue was the build quality, especially when it comes to the exterior, so like panel gaps, paintwork, all these kind of things, fit and finish. He wasn't super happy. But Munro Associates paint standards have said that the Model 3 has now passed it, which is fantastic. So, for me, I think this is just showing that Tesla are now advancing. So they're ramping production, and now that they've ramped production, they're saying, right, okay, let's better the quality. Marquise Brownlee, MKBHD, recently said that is something that's lacking from Tesla, and I actually firmly agree. You guys know, if you follow my early videos, I had some huge issues with my Tesla Model 3, and then the service center and the service from Tesla was really poor. It really let me down, but they fixed it. And with this story, the cars are getting better. And those made in China ones already have decent reviews of people saying that the quality is getting better. Sorry, I'm trying to beat Gally for how fast I'm talking. So, talking about Gally, let's jump over to Gally's Twitter and talk about a huge story right now. And that is Bitcoin and Tesla, or Bitcoin and Elon Musk, but I think it's Bitcoin and Tesla at the moment. So if you have not been living under a rock at the moment, you'll understand that Bitcoin is kind of exploding at the moment. It's had a little bit of a pullback, but we're sitting between $35,000 and $40,000, which sounds insane. We've doubled the all-time high now, and the chat is coming into the public eye about sort of businesses getting involved with it, companies getting involved, institutions getting involved in it. And Elon has always been there on the side, just tweeting away about Bitcoin. Every so often, sometimes it'll be a little jab at Bitcoin. And more recently, it seems like he's coming round to it. So, Gally, there was this guy here was Ben Mesrich, I think I'm saying that right. I'll tell you one thing, I'm never turning down getting paid in Bitcoin again, which is quite funny because there's a lot of horror stories out there. And Elon put me neither, which is quite a big thing. This was a while ago, by the way. And then Robert Breedlove put some comments about sort of what money is and what matters and stuff like that. And then Cerberus came in under here and started talking about it. And then, so in this comment, I won't bore you, but Elon basically sort of said, yeah, whichever has the least error and latency will win. And then Cerberus came down here and sort of said, why again, sort of proposing Bitcoin to Elon. And Elon kind of conceded with what was said and put good point. Which is weird because, you know, Elon's a very intelligent man. And I think he had a very fixed opinion on Bitcoin. And I feel like his perception of that's changing. Anyway, Galilee put underneath that, damn, I feel you're getting convinced, Elon Musk, #Bitcoin. So the talk is that maybe Elon will start putting a portion of Tesla's reserves into Bitcoin to hedge the deflation of currency of the US dollar. Whether that happens or not, I'm not 100% convinced. But one thing I think we could see is possibly the purchase of Teslas through Bitcoin. And I know this seems quite gimmicky, and I think at the start it might be a little bit gimmicky, but I do think it's something that Tesla might be up for. And I know some people are like, well, yeah, you need a stabilized price to be able to do that. But really, if the Bitcoin can be converted into dollar quickly, it doesn't really matter. We could have, on the website, you could have a Model 3 for 1 Bitcoin. And then as the price of Bitcoin goes down or crashes, the price of the car would go up. So it'd be 1.5 Bitcoins to buy a Tesla. It'd be 1.8 Bitcoins to buy a Tesla, and so on. Or maybe it'll be 0.5 Bitcoins to buy a Tesla. Whatever it is, it would be like a spot price. But I think we could see that. I do think we could see some of Tesla's reserves going into Bitcoin. I just don't know. I don't know how he would do it. But here's the thing. If he does do it, it's very, very bullish for Bitcoin. And I think it's very bullish for Tesla as well. Being at the forefront and at the edge of technology, I think is very important to Elon. And I think if he made that decision that Bitcoin was a hedge and also was an advancement in technology, then other companies would follow suit. And I think people will be more bullish on Bitcoin and Tesla as a whole. So we've seen that with some other companies like MicroStrategy. They put a lot of their cash into Bitcoin, and because of that, their company share price has gone through the roof, and that's because Bitcoin's also been going up as well. So yeah, here's one thing, just to make a point on that is, well, some people go, yeah, but if Bitcoin goes down, then the share price would surely take a hit. With MicroStrategy, what Michael Saylor was saying was that they had a lot of cash on the balance sheet. They had a lot of cash, and people just considered it as nothing. So they weren't taking that into consideration when they were buying shares. When they were pricing the company, they weren't taking in this large lump sum of cash. In fact, some people saw it as a bit of a hindrance to the company, and it needed to be, because something needs to be done with it. And it's the same with Tesla. Tesla now have a lot of cash, and in some ways, some people aren't valuing that cash, and if it was in Bitcoin, they would value that cash. So this is sort of the argument at the moment, and the fact that it's just sat there. Some people see that as a negative for the company. So, there's all these things going off. It'd be interesting to see if he does that, but he seems like he's coming around. Huge news on the Model X and the Model S refresh, and that is that the cars are not being seen in the showrooms anymore. So people are speculating that the refresh is coming soon. Now, I think we all think the refresh is coming soon, and that mainly for me is the fact that they had the production line stopped for a couple of weeks, and now they've started production again. We have seen stories that there is now an interior camera inside the car. We have seen the refreshed Model S on the roads, and I think that is coming. Now, the biggest speculation I think we're seeing at the moment is what's going to happen to the Model X. Some people are worried about it getting cut. We're not going to see the Model X anymore. I don't think that will be the case. But will there be a huge refresh? I don't think there's going to be a massive refresh, personally, to both the vehicles. The only thing that I have heard speculation on is that they're making it more efficient to build. So there's a lot of speculation on mainly the falcon wing doors of the Model X, which I can't see them getting rid of. I honestly don't think there's anything more flash in a car than the falcon wing doors of the Model X. People are talking about scissor doors or sliding up doors. I don't know. Will we see a door change on the Model X? That would be insane. It would be the end of the Model X, personally. You may as well stop making the Model X if they get rid of the falcon wing doors. And just to make a point of that is that we have the Plaid Model S on order. We have the Cybertruck on order. And I want to get a Roadster. I still don't think, out of all three of those cars, I don't think there's anything more flashy than falcon wing doors. Genuinely. You've got to think about the average person looking at a car, at a vehicle. We've all seen a sporty car like the Roadster. Yes, it's stunning, but we've all seen one, and it will turn your head. We've all seen ugly vehicles like Hummers. So the Cybertruck's up there. I mean, the Cybertruck's a little bit more brash than the Hummer, but yeah. And then Plaid Model S is just a Model S. But so these vehicles, I don't think have a touch on the Model X. I still don't think anything's as flashy as those doors. Honestly, the amount of attention and eyes you get when you open them doors, that will never stop. The Model X is always going to be a rare car. The average person doesn't know what a Model X is. So they see these doors in the air and they just think it looks like a spaceship. So yeah, if those doors go, I don't know. I think it'd be the end of the Model X. But so the refresh is coming. The refresh is on the way. And I think it's very close. So keep refreshing. the Tesla.com website for the refresh. Okay, so the next story is kind of a weird one. Actress Jamie Lynn Spears, that's Britney Spears' younger sister, is blaming her Tesla for killing her cat. Yeah, kind of a weird headline. So basically, the excuse for her cat being killed was that the car didn't make enough noise to alert the cat to run away as she was reversing. She put this on her Instagram story. And she reversed over the cat and killed it. Here's the weird thing. In the same story, she spoke about this isn't the first time it's happened. Now, when you say this isn't the first time it happened, it doesn't sound like it's... She said... She blames for the death of multiple family cats. Multiple. It doesn't sound like two to me. It sounds at least this is the third cat that she's ran over with the car. I can't swear on here, but that sounds like a load of bull. Running over 3 cats and blaming on the car. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing to run over 3 cats? So yeah, I drive my Model X and Model 3 at the back of my house. There's cats there all the time. In fact, there's a cat who regularly sleeps on the hood of my car. I know that because I've caught him a couple of times. And also his little footprints are all over the car, and which is especially annoying when it's a white Model 3. But guess what, guys? I've never ran over a cat in my cars. So I've done probably around 20,000, 25,000 miles in my Teslas, and I have never ran over a cat. You know, one thing I would say, if I'm being genuinely honest, pigeons seem to be a little bit braver, eh? Who knows about that? Pigeons seem to be a little bit braver when there's a Tesla about. So sometimes I have to beat the pigeons out the way. But look, at the end of the day, it's your responsibility. I could have ran over a few pigeons in my day in the Tesla. I haven't, because I'm quite responsible in the fact that I know where they are. I can see them, so I give them a little bip. It's the same with when there's a cat about in the car. If I see a cat in the car park, I'll give it a little bip, or I'll walk up to it so it walks away. Or I'll make sure I keep an eye on it to make sure it's not under the vehicle. Once I could understand someone going, hey, maybe these cars are a little bit too quiet for cats. Like, I've just ran over my cat. It's really devastating. I've ran over my cat, and the car was a little bit too quiet. I didn't notice it was there. Maybe I could see the argument. But if you're talking about 3 times, there's negligence involved in that. 3 times, you need to be careful when you're driving. What happens if that was a child? Like, what happens if that was your child or your niece or nephew? Sort it out. You can't just be so... It's ridiculous. Just accept some responsibility in that. Once, okay, but 2 times even, but possibly, by the sounds of it, 3 times at least. It's your fault. You need to be more careful when you're driving. With that being said, maybe Tesla should have a cat mode that sort of like lets out a little noise to scare cats away or scare animals away. Maybe. But in this case, in this story right here, she needs to be more careful with her driving. Gosh. Okay, so the last story is on Tesmanian.com. Great place to find some Tesla news. Go follow them. But yeah, they basically posted the story about Tesla seeking government approval to control its cars by phones and tablets in the future. Now, I was looking into this, and there's lots of interesting stuff. But I think what we're talking about is moving closer to autonomy. And this, in my opinion, is just a stepping stone for that to happen. So if they can get the government to sort of approve the allowance of using vehicles to remotely control a Tesla, I think then we can make that step to the full autonomy. And I think this is just a stepping stone that Tesla needs. So this would possibly allow the steering of a vehicle from outside the car, driving a vehicle from like a remote or something, using the phone to turn the vehicle. But I think Tesla want full autonomy. They don't want the idea of human error to be involved. So I think this is just possibly a stepping stone to sort of allow that. So they could the government could then approve autonomous driving as long as it was being monitored by somebody 10 miles away, or maybe if it was being monitored by a person inside the car via a phone, or maybe it's so Tesla can do steering wheel-less vehicles and the person inside the vehicle can loosely control the vehicle safely in certain situations. So I think this is just a move towards autonomous driving. I think it's quite good news that they are seeking this, and I think it's just another step in the right direction. I've bought full self-driving for my Model 3. I'm quite excited about the idea of that, but I've not heard enough in the UK yet to really be buzzing. I spent £6,800 on it, and did I get good value for money? Not really, not with what I've got at the moment. It doesn't really do anything. So, you know, it'd be nice to see some updates, Tesla. Come on, hit me with it. Hit me with something. Right, guys, as always, that is the news. What do you guys think? Have I missed anything? Hey, nobody commented on my video last time. I don't know what happened to that video. It got lost in the YouTube algorithms and nobody saw it. So I did a video about something or other, or the Tesla Model Y safety. But anyway, I was asking, has anyone had the same issue that I'm having right now with my Model 3? I did an update recently, and Sentry Mode launching the viewer to play video clips. I cannot find it anywhere. Someone please, on this video today, comment down below, help me out. Have you guys had that problem? Am I the only guy with it? And if you do know what's going on, am I just missing something? Comment down below how to fix it. I do appreciate it. You guys are probably faster than me phoning up Tesla, so thank you again. Guys, as always, link in the description for 1,000 free supercharger miles. It'll get you 1,000 free supercharging miles if you buy a Tesla. It gets me 1,000 free supercharging miles if I buy it. If you buy a Tesla for my supercharging, I don't know what I'm on about. I do appreciate it. Yeah, congrats to you guys who have got your cars. I bet you're excited. Anyone in the UK is going to get a Chinese Tesla Model 3. Excited for you guys. And if you do buy one, give me a shout. I'll come review it and have a look around your car. As always, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Ow!